Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Thursday, Jupiter Day. All righty. There's a lot going on lately, y'all. So much happening right now. Okay. All right, y'all know what I gotta do, y'all. I always got to go through all of these things to make sure that I am live. Okay. One second. Here we go. There we are. Okay. So, what's up, everybody? I am Shara Prophet. I am the founder of Open Door Hypnosis and the Be Magic School. And today we are going to be talking about Diddy, why he did what he did, why did Diddy do it, and the cost of chasing the bag and selling your soul for the bag, right? This is something that we're starting to see more of as time rolls on. We are definitely in a space where we're seeing more and more people, more and more public figures, people who have amassed great wealth, millionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires, multi-billionaires, things that a lot of us aspire to acquire and have in our lives. We're starting to see that, not that it's not worth it, right? But the way in which you go about getting said things is definitely going to determine your longevity in whatever game you're playing, right? Whatever area you're in, or you know, I guess you could say like genre that you work in, or industry that you're in. So what I am seeing personally from just looking at everything that's been taking place over the past couple of years, not just with Diddy, but with a lot of, influencers, politicians, people who are in the public eye, and even people who are not in the public eye, right? People that you know personally, or maybe in your particular field that you work in, your churches, right? Different, communities and things like that, organizations. We're seeing the changing of the guard happening right before our eyes. We're seeing people being exposed left and right. And it's because the energy supports that right now. The way the cosmos are lined up, the way the planets are lined up, everything is supporting people speaking out, victims coming forward, people telling their stories, everything is supporting, things being highlighted and put underneath the microscope. People's deepest, darkest secrets are being exposed right now. And the reason why that is happening, let's talk about Diddy specifically, right? Um, you know, we are hearing a lot of people who knew him before he came into all of the fame and the fortune, and they're saying, he was nothing like that, right? He was not beating people up. He wasn't, this hardcore gangster. I met Diddy back in like 97 when I was living in New York City. I was attending college in New York City in Manhattan. I hung out with him a couple of times. We were not dating at all, but he was talking to a friend of mine at that time. Um, and, this was right around, I think this is right around the time of Big's death that I met him. And he was a very, very quiet, very just kind of awkward, when it came to communicating with women. Like his friends and everything, like we were talking and hanging out and having a good time, but he was very, very quiet. He wasn't, as uh, outlandish as he grew to be, even at that time, even after Big's death. And I know that was probably a lot of it was his grieving and things like that. But what I will say is I believe that, and I don't know him personally. I'm not in any way saying, oh, I know him or what. I'm just saying I've met him a few times, hung out with him when I was like 18, 19 years old. There was nothing bad happened. He didn't do anything to me. I am not a Me Too person at all, right? I'm just saying I experienced his energy a few times, okay? So what I can pick up on is that this is learned behavior. The stuff that he is dealing with now, or the things that he has put his victims through, that is learned behaviors. Someone did that to him. Okay. And this is stuff, I mean, more and more people are saying this now, but this is what I have always said, that this is definitely the way in which he was introduced into the industry. Okay. He felt like this was the only way for him to gain the financial freedom, the notoriety, the power, the authority in his business. And therefore, he did things and allowed himself to experience certain things that no one should have to experience. If you are a hard worker and you're striving for success in your life and in the field that you've chosen, no one should be made to feel that they have to do things that goes against their morals and their values, and essentially things that will fracture the soul, because that's what has happened to him. His soul has been fractured, and that's because he gave permission to others, his mentors and whomever else, showed him how to do all of this stuff. He gave permission. You have to give permission if you're wanting the type of success that Diddy has had. And I'm not going to say that that's the only way to get the success, because it's not. There's plenty of people out here who have amassed great wealth and notoriety, and they didn't do what he did. But if you're already operating from a deficit, if you already feel like I'm not good enough, and I got to do whatever it takes so that I can get to a certain point in my life where people can look at me like I'm good enough. That's already you operating from a deficit. You're operating from a space where you uh, probably don't know yourself very well. You don't love yourself. You probably come from a broken home, which he did. And I'm not saying that everybody has to come from a broken home, because you could be in a two-parent home and still your home can be broken. Okay. Let's just get that straight. But I believe that a lot of the pain and a lot of the poverty and loss that he experienced in his childhood played into the fact that he felt like he wasn't enough, and therefore he had to give himself over to this energy that says, yo, if you want to do it like we do it, if you want to live how we live, if you want the success, this is what you got to do. These are the things you have to partake in. This is what you're going to have to allow us to do to you. And I believe that when those things happened to him, it broke him down. It fractured him even more. He was already operating from a deficit, had some fractures in his aura, had some fractures in his foundation that led him to be okay with bowing to this particular entity in this beast, right? But then once those things started happening, once he did bend over, once he did have to, be initiated and hazed, so to speak, that's what broke him down. That's what totally caused the fracture. And that is what allowed the monster to start forming. Okay. We talked about demonic possession in our last conversation, in the mocktails conversation and meditation event. I highly recommend you all get in on that. It's a free event. I do it on Mondays, not every single Monday, but on particular Mondays. There's a calendar that you can follow if you go to the event on my Facebook page. But we talked about demonic possession and the basis of demonic possession and how that happens with the fractures of the soul being fragmented, okay? The fractures in the aura and in the foundation, and then the soul being fragmented, and how that allows for certain things to enter in, okay? So if you guys want to catch up on that, it's recorded. You do have to sign up for it. It's free access to it, but it is recorded and it is housed at bemagicschool.org. So him having all of these fractures and tears is what created the monster, okay? Created this entity that he has become. I believe he has become the entity. It was a few years ago where I saw, it was right after Kim Porter's passing, where I saw pictures of him and like some videos that he was doing. And I'm like, man, Diddy looks crazy right now. Like it's something is off with him. That was at the point where I feel, was being broken down, like completely being broken down. He had gone from like this very powerful, very aggressive, very like, big energy to now being like broken down and almost like childlike. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but he was, he looked really drawn and dark and sunken in. And it was just like, yo, something is taking him over. Something else is taking him over because he was already taken over by what I believe to be that Babylonian spirit of, I'm big, I'm bad, I'm powerful, I'm the authority figure. People bow down to me, they do whatever I want, to being kind of stripped of that power. And that was like right before all of the other stuff started taking place, right? So to claim that type of power, the kind of power that he has, right? First of all, I think it was more than just him desiring the money. I think the money played a big role in it, but really it was power. And he's Scorpio, so Scorpios are very driven by power. That's a part of their makeup. Okay, they're very driven by power, but we all know that power can be used in a multitude of ways. You can utilize your power to help uplift and help to mend and create an environment of safety and security and love and growth and nurturing, or you can utilize your power to destroy. Okay. I also think that Diddy had a lot of injuries definitely to his masculine energy, but more so to the feminine energy. And I said this months ago, I said, yo, he's dealing with some fractures and dismantling of his divine feminine energy. And for those of you who have done very deep healing work, you understand that you do need to go in and you need to heal both of your divine masculine and your divine feminine. Okay. If you are having problems with manifesting, if you're having issues with reconciling things that you've done in the past, if you find that you have this like monster energy inside of you where you're hurting people constantly, that means that there's an imbalance. Okay. I'm not going to get too deep into that, but I feel like somebody taught him how to do this stuff and then he took it out on other people. He was so angry. His divine feminine energy is what I feel is the one that is acting out. The distorted feminine energy is what's acting out, or what was acting out. People say that was, it's masculine, but I don't think that that's the divine, that's the distorted masculine. I think it's the distorted feminine. And I'm open to a debate on that. Totally open to a debate on that. Okay. But I feel like he was basically telling artists, people who wanted to accrue the same types of wealth and success that he did, that he was taking it out on them. He was hazing them the way he was being hazed. And that comes from a place of anger. That comes from a place of, like, F it. Like I had to go through it, so do you. And the difference is that you're going to go through it and you're not going to get any reward or any gain from doing that. Okay. Now, because we are living in an age where everything is being exposed right now, this is the time for a lot of these giants to fall, and they will fall. He's low on the totem pole compared to the ones that are above him, right? They're going to fall too. It might take some years, but eventually the whistle will be blown because this is what's supposed to happen right now. It is written. It's written. So whether you are someone who doesn't have, maybe you don't have a platform like Diddy, maybe you are not even that well known. Maybe you only got a following of like 10,000 people or 50,000 people or 100,000 people, right? But if you have been doing anything to cut people down, hurt them, harm them, block their blessings, steal from them, delay what was supposed to have, delay any type of success or forward movement or growth that was supposed to take place in their lives, and you did that intentionally, please believe that you will be exposed. It's not just happening to celebrities and people in the public and in the public eye. It's happening to everybody. I don't care if it's just you and your household. I don't care if you're a mother or a father that has done this to your child or your sister or your brother or your mother or your cousin or your spouse. If you have done this in any way, shape, or form, you will be exposed, and you do have to pay a price for that. Because essentially what you are doing is you are altering a person's ability to grow. You're altering their whole life. You're changing their entire path by introducing certain elements and behavior patterns and treatment into their life that takes them off their path. Now, some people will still rise up and still be able to stay on their path or find their way back and utilize their pain and turn that into a purpose for themselves, right? But some people won't. Some people will never be able to get those fractured parts of themselves back together again. So if you've played a role in that, if you've played a role in fracturing someone's soul, breaking them down, purposely doing it, intentionally doing it from a space of malice and self-hatred, because that's really why you do it, because you hate who you are at the core of yourself. So much so that you don't believe that you're able to achieve certain goals and attain success on your own. You don't believe that you can do that. So you sell your soul, you sell out to these entities and these deities. And you sell out to a process that's been like, well, this is how it is. This is what you're going to have to do if you want to get X, Y, and Z. This is how it's done. This is how it's done. So if you buy into that, oh, it's done this way, so this is what I got to do to get where I want to go. If you buy into that, you're touching and agreeing on it, and you're saying, I am bowing to this entity, pretty much. That's what you're doing. You can't really sell your soul, but that's what selling your soul is. Saying, I don't trust my own path. I don't trust my own ability to get to where I want to go. So I'm going to take the fast track and sell my soul to this entity, to this energy, so that I can gain riches, fame, fortune, success. I want to be the next Oprah. I want to be the next Jay-Z or Beyonce, or I want to be, the next Obama. Not understanding what they have to do or what they had to do to get to where they are. And everybody does not have to do it that way. It may take you longer to get to that point if you don't go that way, but it doesn't mean you won't get there. But the people who have taken the fast track, or the people who have taken I call it the easy route, but it's really not that easy in hindsight, because it's never easy for you to give up a piece of yourself, because that shit haunts you. Okay. That can haunt you. The dark deeds that you must do will haunt you. And that's why eventually they all end up having to pay, because you cannot bypass your humanity. Your humanity will always give you a conscience at some point in your life, which is why he tried to change his name to Love all of a sudden, because his humanity was coming through like, yo, I have done some effed up stuff to people. Okay. People call it karma, but I call it guilt and shame in your humanity coming through, and something inside of you is actually calling to sabotage everything. I want all of this to end so I don't have to do this anymore. So I don't have to keep selling my soul over and over again, and I don't have to keep hurting people and doing this. That's when the sabotage comes. That's why the stuff comes crumbling down, because eventually they get tired of having to do it. You get older. You already know it's a wheel. It just keeps going and going and going and going and going. Nothing changes. You just got to keep doing the same thing over and over again. You got to keep taking advantage of people. You got to keep doing the same rituals and spells to keep it up. And it's tiring. It's tiring. Now we're gonna delve more into the sex magic and the rituals and stuff like that. We're going to talk more about that offline, because I can't go too deep into that here on certain social media platforms. We will talk about that in the next mocktails conversation and meditation. So if y'all want to be in on that conversation, then jump on over there, because we get deep and dirty in those conversations. Okay. But that is why we're seeing these things happening like one after the other. And we're going to keep seeing it. Your favorite, I mean, your favorite artists, the ones you're like, oh, she could do no harm. She's not in on that. Oh, he wouldn't do that. But why they ain't catch him yet? What did he do? The favorites, baby, your favorites are going to be under the microscope, highlighted. And I don't care. It may not happen this year. It may not happen in 2 years, but it's going to happen. Okay. Even if something happens to Diddy, which I hope nothing happens to him. I hope he stays alive forever. I hope he lives a long life. I don't want nothing to happen to him. I want him to stay alive. And I want him to sing like a canary. But even if something were to happen, it's not going to be the way it used to be. Okay, we've shut that down. So now case closed and nobody is going to be exposed. That's not happening anymore. I'm telling you. Not with the way the energy is lined up, not the way the ancestors are lined up, not the way source got things moving, and things have to be moved because there's a changing of a guard that must happen, okay? People who have experienced great loss over and over and over and over again, people who have been trying to claw their way out of the mud and keep getting knocked back down because of the energy siphoning and harvesting that's been happening on a grander scale collectively, right? Eventually, the pendulum has to swing back the other way, eventually. So therefore, it's not going to be the same thing. So even if something was to happen to him, please believe that those people are still going to be exposed. Those tower moments are going to take place. And the reason why is because the majority of those people are operating from a deficit. The majority of those people are broken. They have not healed the parts of themselves that need to be healed. And this is them, this is their energy sabotaging everything that they've built. This is their guilty conscience, right? You can say You can say they don't feel bad. You don't know, you don't live inside of a person's head. You don't know what they experience when they go to bed at night. You don't know why they keep popping pills and getting drunk and getting high. It's so that they can shut that part of themselves down. That's why the majority of them get high. Even your politicians, even your favorite politicians are getting high. They're getting drunk. They're addicted to sex. They have all kinds of issues going on, baby. Trust me. Because they're trying to shut down the part of them, the consciousness that's like, yo, we ain't right. Something's off. Wow, we shouldn't have done that. I can't believe I did that. You don't know what's inside of these people's heads. But if you study human behavior, unless they have a specific mental illness, okay, which no one has been able to prove, but 9 times out of 10, they are dealing with guilt, shame. That guilt and that shame will manifest itself as sabotaging their empires and making the empire fall. Because again, there's a part of them that's tired of having to do it over and over and over again and over. I got to go out and find somebody else to sacrifice. I got to go out and do this. And I got, and when I'm saying sacrifice and ritual, I don't want you all to think of it as it has to be these big, elaborate, like, magical rituals. No, it doesn't have to be that. You can siphon and harvest energy by just looking at a person and saying, oh, I want what they got. And connecting to that energy field and begin siphoning, especially if that person has no idea how to protect themselves. If they have no idea how to transmute, it's not that hard to do. People do it all the time. The media does it all the time. Okay. Politicians do it all the time. Entertainers do it all the time. It's not hard to do. And usually they understand energy better than the average person. They understand how to do it a lot better. Okay. And most of the time, we live in a society that praises and worships and we put these people on a pedestal. So you're already giving them permission to tap into your energy. That's all they need. All they need is for you to praise them and worship them. That's all they need. And the moment they got that, boom, I can hook right into you and yum, yum. Okay. That's why I say it's not that hard, because the majority of the population, not everybody, but the majority of the population is very, very easy to manipulate, because the majority of them are operating off of emotional responses, okay? If something looks nice and is pleasing to your eye, that automatically puts you into a space of calm and relaxation. So you're already letting your guard down for these people. Then they get on stage or they say the right things, and then automatically, oh, that's another lowering of the guard, right? A lowering of your discernment, because now they're building trust. They got glam, they got lights, they got money that places them as an authority figure. Okay. They're on platforms, they're on TV. They speak eloquently. This is hypnosis 101, y'all. It is used every single day, which is why I have dedicated my life to teaching people about it. And I've dedicated my life to helping people learn how to protect themselves how to break the spell of hypnosis, because you can use it to hurt somebody and you can use it to heal. Okay? It's called hypnotic modality. They understand psychology. They understand human behavior. They understand energy. They understand how to tap in and harness. Okay? They know how to do all of that. Now the goal is for us to understand when it's happening and to learn how to block it and learn how to do what we got to do, because we also have the ability to transmute that. We have that ability. Okay, that's in us. But you have to claim it, stand at it. You have to do your due diligence. You have to study it. You have to embrace it. You have to practice and practice and practice. Okay? And you have to decide which side you're going to be on. Which side are you going to play? Because you can use it for good and you can use it for low frequency stuff. But you need to decide which side you're going to be on, because I'm going to tell you right now, if you've been playing on a side where you've taken advantage of people, I'm going to keep saying it over and over and over again for everyone. Even if you're thinking about it, even if you're like, man, I've been struggling for so long, I kind of just want to go and just do this over here real quick so I can make X, Y, and Z. That's you operating from a deficit, sweetheart. That's you not fully believing in the plan for your life. That's you not taking responsibility. That's you not having full control, that you're willing to go bow down to an energy that can destroy you. Okay? This is why I keep talking about this, because please believe me, and I've been talking about this for years. I've been talking about this stuff for years. Okay? It's going to happen. I don't care what anybody tries to do. I don't care how much people try to, shift and, oh, I'm changing my ways and I just want to be brother love and I just want to help other people and give people their flowers and I just want to really be there for people. It does not matter. That's great. But the damage has been done and you still got to pay. You got to pay. You have to pay because you've invested, you've touched and you agreed with an entity that once it wants to be paid back. This entity is like, oh, yeah, you got your part out of the deal, but it's time to pay up, boo-boo. That mixed with your own guilty conscience is what's going to tear your empire down. And it doesn't mean that it's over for you. It doesn't mean that you can't start all over again. It just means that all that you've accumulated will need to fall apart so that you can understand, oh my goodness, I did X, Y, and Z. I need to go in and heal. I need to do whatever. I need to shift. I need to make changes. I need to, be more, helpful and beneficial to the planet instead of detracting and pulling it in and acting as a negative force, where I've just been sucking up. Okay. And we talked about negative and positive energies and what that really means. Negative means pulling in unto itself, right? Think about a woman and her genitalia pulling in into itself. And then the positive, think about the male genitalia, giving. Okay. Giving. But it's supposed to be in a healthy balance, but we are living in a time where it is out of balance, okay? And it has nothing to do with being a woman or a man. We're talking about energy specifically. So those who have sold themselves, sold out to that particular energy in order to get a bag, in order to have more fame and success and fortune in their lives. And listen, they could be doing really good things for people. It doesn't mean that they're all bad. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that. Diddy has done a lot of great things. You know, he has. He's helped communities. He's done a whole lot of stuff, right? A lot of them have. But they've also done just as much. And they used to do good to kind of balance out the not so good stuff that they were doing. But see, that's not working anymore. That law of rhythm is not working anymore. Because when you try to manipulate the laws to fit your narrative, it will work for a while. That's the power of being a magician. You can do that. You can manipulate the energy. You can utilize the laws in your favor. You can. But you also need to understand that every pendulum must swing back. So you have to be very aware, conscious, and cautious about what it is that you're trying to pull out of that ether into your life and what you're willing to do, how far you're willing to go get it. And most people allow their greed, they allow the fact that they're operating from a deficit, they allow the fact that they have unresolved codependency issues, they have not done any inner child work. Okay. All of these things play a huge, huge factor into why people would go in that direction to do anything it takes to step on anybody to get what they want. Because you feel like you don't have it and you feel like you're not powerful enough to actually get it on your own. That's the problem. You don't believe in yourself. You don't trust. You got a deadline on it. It's got to happen now. Why ain't happening? Shit, man, I want it now. Fuck it. I'm going to do it. Okay. Instead of just being in the journey, being on the journey, being on the path and appreciating your walk. Instead of doing that, most people want it fast, fast, fast. That is why you see a lot of these younger rappers getting it fast, and then what happens? They get taken out. Because the pseudo powers that be have also figured out a way to capitalize on their debt, i.e. life insurance policies. Every company, every big company takes out a life insurance policy on their employees. Let's just keep it 100. That is not new information. Okay. So if you're already dealing with that low frequency energy, that devil energy, we'll call it devil energy for lack of a better word. But when you're already dealing in that type of energy, right? It's nothing. It's nothing to be like, oh, you're worth more to me unalived than you are here. So I don't mind taking you out. Because you already signed your name on the dotted line. So I already own you pretty much. I own you. Your soul is mine. I'm going to eat now and after you're here. But people want the fame and the fortune and the lights and the money so bad. They are willing, even though they may know this information, they're willing to do it anyway. Okay. So if you guys want to be in on a deeper conversation about this whole, not just Diddy, Diddy is highlighted right now, right? But he is so low on the totem pole, baby. You know what I'm saying? there's so many others that are getting ready to come out, and eventually we're going to start hitting the higher ups. And this is the thing. They know that this is happening. They know they're shaking in their boots. This is why things feel like this is why it feels like so much turmoil and like hardship is happening in the world, because these pseudo powers that be is not real power. This is imaginary power, right? They are doing more and more rituals. They're doing more and more things and using more and more tactics to keep people suppressed. Okay, keep people oppressed and suppressed, right? Keep you so focused on the fact that the price of eggs have gone up, the gas prices are gone up, the I can't afford X, Y, and Z. And they want you to stay focused on surviving rather than thriving and being in a higher frequency. Because if I can convince you that you're constantly in danger, that you can't pay your rent, if I can keep feeding that into your subconscious mind and creating a belief system that you now buy into, then no, you're not going to have time to sit and really do your inner work. You're not going to have time to raise your vibration by focusing more on the things that you do have in your life. You're not going to have time to manifest. You're not going to be focused enough to manifest because you're so worried about survival. So this is why things feel heightened, because they have turned the dial up on fear and anxiety. They've turned the dial up on creating these illusions and things not quite being what they seem. Yes, they have a pretty face. They got a nice, fresh press. They talk a good game. They tell you they're going to do X, Y, and Z. I'm talking about both sides. I'm talking about both sides. Okay? They want you to feel comfortable. Remember, I talked about that in the beginning. Like, let's use a certain face and a certain persona. Let's use certain words and tones of voice to relax them and lull them to sleep, so that they feel like, okay, well, I had all of this stuff going on in my life, but they said it's going to be okay. They say they're going to do X, Y, and Z for me. So they keep pacifying us. They pump us full of fear, full of dread, full of anxiety, and then they pacify us. That is classic hypnosis, y'all. And it's going a step beyond hypnosis. It's mind control. Okay? Understand what's happening always. Be able to see clearly through the veil. Don't ever, ever allow yourself to be played, because they count on that. They count on it. And those that touch and agree with that energy, even if you are unaware that you're touching and agreeing with that energy, it's going to drag you down. It's going to drag you down. Be thoughtful, mindful, think for yourself. Even what I'm telling you right now, run it through a filter, run it through a strainer, okay? Sit with the information and ask yourself the question, okay, how much of this is something that I need to pay attention to? Even what I'm telling you. Call your energy back after this video, okay? Because I'm damn sure gonna call mine back. Remember what I said, keep your dome protected, okay? Yours, your family, your children, keep your dome protected. Because please believe me, they are nothing without our energy. They can't do shit without us buying into it, bowing and vowing. Look up the word vote. Look up the meaning and the etymology of the word vote. You are vowing. You're vowing. to a person, an entity, an idea about something. Do your research. Do your research. Okay. You're vowing your allegiance to a person that you don't even know. Do your research. And it's not just with politics, it's with anything that you are touching and agreeing on, right? Because it looks shiny and it feels good and it makes you feel good, right? You need to run that through a filter before you touch and agree on it. That is just how we have to play. We have to be strategic in the way we exchange our energy and lend our energy to anyone and anything at any time, any idea. Be strategic in how you use your energy and how you process information. That is the most powerful, potent weapon you got, is to wake up and do not fall back to sleep. Do not be lulled. Do not. I'm not saying that you got to be scared, because with this type of information and this type of awareness and these types of strategies and techniques, you ain't got to be scared of nothing. You ain't got to be scared. Not when you tapped in. You don't have to be afraid. You ain't got to look over your shoulder no more. When you learn how to truly alchemize and transmute, and you have a full, deep understanding of energy and who you are and the things that where you know you need to strengthen yourself and make those adjustments within yourself, the things that you know you need to heal and work on, and you actually do the work, you ain't got to be scared of nothing. Trust me. You ain't got to worry about nothing. Because you know you have that what is it? X-ray vision. You can see through all the bullshit, all the lies. You can see through it. So I don't jump on bandwagons. I do not. I can't. I never really have, because I've always kind of been like this. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of us have always kind of been like, I don't know, something ain't right about that. Yeah, I know everybody in the world loves them and everybody in the world worships them and everybody in the world is like, girl, what's wrong with you? You don't like her? Yeah, that's been my life, my whole life. Because I could see and tap into something that the human eye wasn't able to tap into. This is before I got real intentional with my journey. This is even as a kid. Okay. And a lot of you are the same way, which is why your opinions are not popular, which is why, you feel like you can't really speak your piece and say what's really on your mind and how you really truly feel, because the majority of the people around you are like, oh no, no, I get it. I understand. But now is the time for us to start speaking. Say what you got to say. Say what's on your mind. Call a spade a spade. Call the demon out. Command it, the entity. Command it to identify itself. And I guarantee you, once you do that, they'll change the subject. Once you do that, they won't even acknowledge it. Or it will tell you. Either it will run away or it's going to tell you. The law of names, look it up. Okay. All right, that's enough. Y'all want more? Sign up for Mocktails Conversation and Meditation. Go to bemagicschool.org. My chair keeps sinking down. I got to do something about that. I don't know what to do about that, but all right, everybody. I hope that this has been helpful for someone out there. Please do share this video, tag your friends. If you found it to be helpful, if you found that this information is valuable to you. I will put the link in the comment section for our Monday mocktail conversation and meditation. Go to the bemagicschool.org. There's plenty of classes over there. There's plenty of like free downloads and free classes, paid classes over there. Just go on over there and peruse the site and see what might be something that you resonate with. All right, y'all. Okay, well, I'm going to go now. I hope that this has been helpful for you. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your week and weekend, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out.